Thank you very much, Nikki. So, it's interesting when you put together a presentation in the sort of the midst of a global pandemic. It's not exactly something that you think about doing. Uh, and so when we put this presentation together, we were thinking, okay, I'll just give some sort of tips and facts around chatbots and what that's all about. And then turns out we kind of had a big announcement drop today, and I'll get into that a little bit further. But welcome to this session in the next 30 minutes or so, or a little bit less, on chatbots, crisis communications, and coronavirus. Yeah, I'm just going to jump in to my deck, and we'll just get started. Now, I'm a higher ed person by trade, so a lot of my presentation is going to be focused primarily for colleges and university social media managers, brand managers, digital engagement practitioners, people who are in the trenches right now, really trying to handle a load of communication. And I hope with all my heart that your institution is giving you all the tools that you need to do your jobs, because at this point in time, if you look at something like the higher ed social Facebook community, it is just hopping with people who are, to be honest, tired. And they've been working really hard, and they've been sharing a lot of information, trying to answer as many questions as possible coming in. And really, I hope that their senior leadership are giving them the tools they need in order to be as successful as possible. Now, for a lot of people who are in higher ed right now, this is kind of what it feels like. Everyone's at home. A lot of people anyway, working from home, a lot of pets and animals involved. I've got a cat behind me here. It's not even mine. I'm at my in-laws right now, not my usual office. But everyone's just furiously typing away. There's just so much communication flow going on right now. I don't think we've ever seen this much happen on literally like an hourly basis. It's been really sort of challenging times. By the way, if you want to use the virtual South by Southwest hashtag, which I even failed to mention because I'm so out of it this week, because it's been such a busy time. And my handle on Twitter is at Eric Stoller. And I should probably mention that I'm the VP of digital strategy for a chatbot company called GeckoEngage. I think my boss is watching this, and he's probably going, man, you got to tell people who you are. But for a lot of people, as I said, this is kind of the state of things right now. I've been following sort of higher ed social as I look down at my phone right now to sort of see if there's any new activity. And there's just a lot of posts on, me watching the coronavirus right now, and comments, and everything's okay, but not really. Or Emma Gilmartin from University of Glasgow is just saying, hey, we've got small teams of people trying to communicate to vast amounts of folks who are interested in what's going on. And please be nice, because there's just sort of, the mental health load, really in particular on those who are doing higher ed social media, has been really intense. And so I hope that, everyone is treating everyone a little bit more cordially. But gosh, I just, if you've been perusing the higher ed social Facebook community, some of these posts are just unreal. I mean, that someone posted from Queens College, part of the CUNY system, that they're going to reopen on Tuesday, March 17th. I really wonder if that's actually still going to happen. That was from just a couple of days ago, but I guarantee you the questions and comments came in fast and furiously to that particular channel. Or Matt there was talking about the fact that hey, commencement ceremonies, graduation ceremonies, these things have been either canceled or postponed or put on hold for the duration, for an unknown duration, just because at the end of the day, people don't know what's going to happen. And so they're getting just bombarded with tons of comments and questions, and some of it positive, some of it not. But I think everyone at the end of the day can agree this is kind of what it feels like right now. If you work in higher ed social, if you work in social media in general, from an engagement perspective, I don't know about you, but I don't think I can ingest any more coffee. And I kind of just been feeling like this. It's a good opportunity to use a Schitt's Creek GIF. There's only so much I can handle. And so when I think about all of this context that I've set right now with regards to what's happening with the coronavirus and COVID-19, this is sort of the point where I was going to just sort of say, we've got a bunch of chatbots, come and check us out. But I'm going to go a little bit deeper than that here in a few minutes. First and foremost, and I think it's kind of ironic, I guess, but we wrote this book, The Ultimate Guide to Chatbots in Higher Education. It was sort of an introductory piece around sort of what's happening in the sector with chatbots. What can you do? What's the technology all about? Because we get asked a lot of times, what are chatbots? And so if you have that sort of basic questions around chatbots and let's be honest, we'd love to ship it out to you now. It's just a free book. You can get it at bit.ly/gecko book. And I'll share these slides later on my Twitter handle. But the thing with chatbots, basically what they are artificial intelligence driven conversational tools that handle basic questions, repetitive questions on a variety of platforms. And so right now for us, we're really hitting chatbot conversations on text message, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp. I don't have it on here on this particular slide, but we also have the ability to integrate our chatbot into Twitter direct messages. So, the idea being you can get thousands and thousands and thousands of questions coming in, but they're almost always going to be maybe like top 50 questions coming in over and over and over again. And so right now, in terms of crisis comms, you want to free up staff time. You want to free up the ability for your communicators to not have to be answering the same questions over and over and over again. Because unfortunately, in times of crisis, people tend not to read or pay attention because things are moving so quickly. And that's where a chatbot can be really handy at handling the overall volume and load of just engagements and questions. And is this open? Is this closed? What do I do if this is happening? How do I get my refund? What about financial aid? All the kind of questions that come in for colleges and universities. That's where chatbots come in really handy because, again, they can answer thousands and thousands of questions all at once on a variety of platforms, which is really handy. As I've said in the past, chatbots never have a bad day. They always go literally that extra mile to support students because they're always on. I mean, I think that's the thing with a pandemic that we're facing right now. People are going to be looking for information, resources 24/7, 365. It's not as if they're just going to be sort of within the window of maybe normal operating hours. People are going to be looking at information throughout the day, throughout the evening. In the past, we've always kind of promoted our Monday through Friday chatbot in a week. That's my boss there, Matt Lanham. He's our CEO. And we've always said that if you can get this kind of technology up fast and in a sort of a quality way, that's what it's all about. And so I'm going to mention actually something that we did, which is sort of record breaking for us as a company a little bit later on. If you do want to demo sort of what chatbots are all about, in a way, this is almost like the boring part of the presentation. My apologies to any of my colleagues checking in on this talk, but at the end of the day, you want to preview our bot, you can totally do it through WhatsApp, through text message, SMS, or through Facebook. But that's just sort of our regular bots that we've always been selling to higher ed. But when you think about how you can engage with people, how you can communicate effectively, you've got your social media channels, you've got your web page and web pages, everybody's kind of doing the same thing. But at the end, it's always about resources and what you can do. And I don't know about you, but when I saw the last Avengers movie, and there was the scene and at the end, and Captain America says, Avengers assemble, and kind of gave me chills anyway. And I was just thinking, that's kind of where we're at right now. Every tool that we've got at our disposal needs to be activated in order to engage with students, parents and family members, academics, staff. Should I come to the office? Should I come to the campus? Can I get back into my dorm room? All those questions that are coming up over and over and again. And so we've even seen some of our clients basically they name all their chatbots. So we've got Pearl, Murray, and Peter the Anteater. Pearl is at Santa Monica College. Murray is at Western Iowa Tech Community College, and Peter the Anteater is at University of California at Irvine. And some of these bots were created initially with the idea that they were more for admissions and general questions about all sorts of things related to the institution. And they've gone all in with coronavirus and COVID-19 resources and information because that's what their community wants to know about. And that's what people need to know right now. And also the nice thing is they're populating the information in these bots with sort of the latest, most recent breaking news that they need to get to their campus and to their audience at large. So with sort of the go ahead from our CEO this week, we decided to do something new and kind of a big deal for us. We actually just released today that we're going to offer up to colleges and universities a free 3-month, kind of like a pilot effectively, for a COVID-19/coronavirus bot. We built it in a day. 5 of us did something that we've never done before as a team. We actually built a artificially intelligent, machine learning driven, natural language processing based chatbot, which sort of the too long didn't read translation of all that is you can ask it lots of questions. They don't always have to be typed in perfectly, and it will answer you with information around COVID-19, coronavirus, and we've basically filled it out in such a way that institutions can put in their resource links, their information, so that they can really get this information out to their students as quickly as possible. And so what we're doing is sign up on this form that I'm going to be linking out to here on this next screen. And if you're a college or a university and you want to get a chatbot on your website, you want to maybe do a chatbot with SMS, you maybe want to do chatbot with Facebook Messenger, go to bit.ly/responsebot and sign up. And one of our customer success teams will get back to you as soon as possible. And we will definitely get you hooked up with a bot that you can actually implement, ideally in a day, maybe 2 days, depending on how fast you need it. But we've set it up where we can do it in an hour. With you right now. And it's already, like I said, pre-populated with all sorts of information that's super useful to colleges and universities. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing with this, is so fast moving. And that's why, in our eyes, the idea is that if you can get any additional support or resource that frees up your time, especially that's mobile based, that's sort of tracking all those interactions, I think that institutions are really strapped for time. I mean, I keep looking at the higher ed social Facebook group, and I think everybody on there is just saying, the volume is just unreal. Everyone's sort of expressing the fact that they're just tired, and that's, to be honest, that's a pretty normal response in the face of all of this. And so I think that, if you have a chatbot already on your institutional website or within maybe Facebook Messenger or using it through SMS, and you haven't already, this is sort of a PSA. This isn't even if you're using one of our products. I'm just saying as a PSA, if you have a chatbot and you haven't, maybe you got too caught up with everything else and you didn't think about maybe putting in information around COVID-19 or coronavirus, put that information in there. Because I guarantee you, if you look at maybe some of your logs in terms of what people are asking, they're asking those questions to the bot, because people get used to asking these chatbots questions almost like it's their friend, right? It's their pseudo academic advisor. It's the person that they go to first, even though it's not a real person. It's that place that they're going to on their mobile device or through a campus's app, and they use it to ask questions over and over again. And so you think about, whether or not Nikki, how many questions can you or I answer in an hour? We're a bit limited by that. And I think that's where, if you've already got a chatbot or you want to get a chatbot going, it makes total sense, because again, then it becomes the trusted resource in addition to sort of working in parallel with your website, with your other social media channels. You could send a blast email out to a bunch of people and say, hey, this is your resource. This is going to be constantly updated. Or you could send an SMS blast to people, because really it's an all hands on deck situation, kind of like we've never seen before. Oh, exactly. Well, I think, a lot of institutions have sort of a main web page that's just kind of become this massive, long scrolling thing. And, when we were building out our chatbot, we were just thinking, it was on Tuesday, literally 5 of us just worked nonstop trying to just train this thing, because it's kind of like a new member of staff. You have to bring it online and fill its head with information. And we were going through all these different institutional websites, including the University of Michigan, just to sort of see what everyone was doing. And the bottom line is, we wanted it to be able to interact with parents and family members and with staff and faculty and with students, current students, prospective students, alumni. I mean, there's a lot going on in terms of graduation and commencement, and students being, effectively evicted out of their residence halls. And what does that look like in terms of your facilities, to even getting the word out from, president or chancellor level. And so we literally tried to come up with as many questions for our chatbot, for the ResponseBot project, as possible. And so the cool thing is, we've already got, I can sort of see coming in on the fly, we've had about 3 or 4 different institutions already respond to this offer. And so the idea being we'll contact them either today or tomorrow, depending on their timeline. And in an hour or two, they will have a little widget code effectively that could just be copied and pasted into their website. And they'll have a chatbot up and running that can answer questions for their community straight away without any additional sort of tech load, or, you don't need your IT team helping out with it or anything like that. And I'm sorry if this feels like a commercial. We honestly were just working like really like around the clock trying to get this up and running. And I was really so proud of the team who was working on this. And yeah, as I'm scrolling through everything, I was literally just getting emotional today thinking about it, because it's one of those things where, everybody's trying to just do their thing to sort of what can they do to assist this community that they love. I had a whole schedule of things I was going to try to accomplish this week, and I get a message from the boss saying, "By the way, we're gonna provide a free bot, and we're going to be building it, and it's going to happen right now." So yeah, cleared the decks for sure. It's funny. I've been full-time remote work from home for the past 10 years.
Wow.
I ran an independent consultancy in higher education. I used to write for Inside Higher Ed. I did the Student Affairs and Technology blog.
Mhm.
And I also went to campuses like yours and the various association events, and uh, lived and worked in the UK as well, and worked in that higher ed sector too. And so I was my own boss effectively for 9 years, and then kind of accidentally fell into working with GeckoEngage because I spoke at one of their events,
Oh.
liked them so much, and thought, you know what, I'm going to see if they'll let me work for them. And truth be told, I was brought in September, but I'm still work from home. I'm based in Florida, and my colleagues are used to having an office, and there's about 40 some of us. And for most people, they're used to sort of having that good morning cup of coffee kind of conversation with people in the hallway kind of thing. And yeah, it's been interesting to see how people are just adjusting to sort of work from home life, being distributed, lots of Zoom calls, and pets coming in on the screen, or you know construction work or something like that. So yeah, it's been an interesting time, and I think we're going to get even busier now with what we're doing, like I said, with the new bot project. But I think that um, yeah, it's one of those things. I think for those of us that have been remote for a long time, this just feels like our usual. Um, but it's still, things are definitely different. And I think that for anyone who's working from home, if it's your first time or you're just kind of adjusting to it, you know, take plenty of breaks, talk to people, unplug from your computer too, because it's really easy to just get sucked in and just sort of be on Zoom all day, or Slack or email or that kind of thing. There's no time for judgment, right now, and all it is time for empathy, and being helpful in any way that you can. And if that's building to some new technology, or just sharing a note to someone saying, "Hey, thinking of you, great job." That's the stuff that's really going to matter right now. Thank you, Nikki, so much for this opportunity, and I hope the rest of the day goes really well for you.
Thank you, Eric.